How are you doing? This is Life with Marlene, your Florida blogger, and welcome to today's podcast conversation. Um, Today, I wanted to shift the energy and to really go into a very important topic, and it is Training Tuesday, guys. And on Training Tuesday, um, I want to bring you guys some very important information about what we need to shift. We need to train ourselves when it comes to accessibility. And now, how many of us allow ourselves to be accessible? We let people come into our lives, and that's a conversation that I want to talk to you guys about is not allowing people to have access to you 100%. And that's most definitely something that we have to learn. So, shout out to all of my gems. Shout out to all of my channel members. I appreciate every single one of you. I am Marlene, and I am a life coach, motivational speaker, positive mindset shifter, all of those things. I am she. Um, and I wanted to talk on this Training Tuesday about training ourselves to pivot. That's what these Training Tuesdays are about. I come live and I chit chat with you guys for about 30 minutes, and we really talk about a very important topic. And today's topic that we're going to be transitioning into is training other people that they can't have access to us. Do you have people in your life that you allow full access? I did. I did that for the majority of my life because as adults, we think that everybody deserves access to us. It could be your children, it could be your siblings and relatives. Not everybody deserves to have access to you. Have you learned that lesson yet about not making yourself accessible? It's a hard lesson to the people that we care about, your core people, your children, your spouse, your relatives, your friends. Retraining yourself that everybody doesn't deserve to have access to me. And having access means by phone, in person, the things that you do, how you support, how you show up for other people. We train people how to treat us. And if people feel that they can do whatever and we keep taking it, they're going to keep doing it. So if you feel stressed out, for one, that's the first point that I want to cover with you guys. That was me. I was always stressed out from relatives and friends and who you're in a relationship with because I was not setting boundaries. I was allowing people to have access to me, and they did not deserve to have that access to me. Do you have people in your life that you allow to stick around and mistreat you and disrespect you? Well, maybe you're like me, that you just think that this is just how it's going to be. I'm stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, but we have choices, we have options. But it's all about retraining ourselves, retraining your mindset, retraining your focus, retraining boundaries, or is all new, learning how to show up for yourself. And that's the first point about accessibility. You have to understand that your time is valuable, your money is valuable, your energy, your mindset, your power, how you feel, how you are showing up in this world, it all matters. You're important. And because you know that, when you know your worth, you know what you deserve, you know what you want out of this life, you just won't settle like maybe you used to do before. And that's where I was in my life. I got so tired of siblings or friends, so called friends, doing me wrong. And it's all because I was always allowing people to have access to me and to treat me any way that they wanted to, and that's not okay. That was not okay for me then, and it's not okay for anyone now who is listening in the sound of my voice, that it's not okay for people to disrespect you, to treat you any way they want to. But we have to be strong enough to say, I don't deserve to be treated this way anymore. You have to get strong. You have to know your own personal worth. And I know that this is not a message for everybody. And it's not. It's not a message for everybody. But it is a message for somebody that feels that they deserve better. See, if you, like me, many years ago, I was so burnt out from carrying the burdens of my relatives, always feeling that I had to help them out, support them, give them money, give them my time, give them my energy, and nobody was pouring back into me. See, it's you have allowed people too much access to you, access to your personal business, to your money. You you've let them in. You've given them too much, but it's never too late. You, like myself, we just needed to learn about boundaries. And not that we didn't have boundaries, we were not enforcing them. You know, from the time we were children, we were always told to be kind and to be givers and to support people. But how many of us were taught that kindness has limits? Yes, see, I had to learn that, and I know that many of my gems, you all have to learn that too. You have to understand that you can be kind, but that has a limit. And there are some people that you have to even be very cautious about how you show up for them. Some people, no matter how much you do, if you do two things, they want you to do 200. They're never satisfied. They're never appreciative. There is zero gratitude, and that is the reason why we get burnt out, we get stressed out. It affects your mental health. It affects your finances. It just affects you in general, your way of being and living and coping in this life. See, most of the time we are not coping well. We don't cope in the best way possible because we have not set those boundaries. We have not said no when we really needed to. See, and that's why this training Tuesday is all about that. It's never too late for us. It's never too late for you to start and start today by not allowing people to have full access. So, how do we do that? How do you start people that maybe they've never had boundaries with you? They've always treated you and done whatever they wanted to. How do you cut that off? How do you stop that? Well, first of all, you have to know what you want. And I think that that's so important. Nobody can tell you what you want. Nobody can tell you that something isn't right. You have to feel that way. And it has to be strong enough for you to have a desire to say, this is a boundary. I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. I'm going to speak up for myself. I'm going to protect my mental health. I will protect my peace. See, that's so important. Protecting your peace, protecting your joy, protecting your finances, and your overall well being. I know for myself, taking care of my physical health also meant that I was going to take care of my mental health and take care of my financial health because they all go together. It all encompasses our well being. We can't be our best, we can't be our happiest if we are not doing what we need to do for ourselves. So that brings me to start today's topic, and that is about training accessibility. Do you allow people to have full access to you? Do you allow people to know all of your personal and private business? Don't feel ashamed. I'm not coming for anybody. I'm just asking some questions because that's where I was maybe about 7 years ago. I used to just tell everybody my business because I thought they were my family or my friends or supporters or people who claim to love me. Trust and believe that the people who claim to love you and claim to be there for you and care for you, it's not always that. People will say they care about you and love you only if they're going to receive. What are you going to give them? How are you going to help them? What benefit do they get from it? See, once people stop benefiting from what you do for them, you will find out who are your real people. And some people have never been your loved ones. Some people that claim to love you is their love is circumstantial, only based on certain circumstances, only based on how they benefit, they will choose to support you. So that's a life lesson. You know, we really do have to learn that lesson that not everybody who comes into our life is good for us. Not everybody comes into our life to help us. Some people come to use and disrespect. Some people come to see how far they can go with you before you say no and before you cut them off. So you really do have to protect your peace. And I say that because I went through all the way until I had a literal breakdown. I had a physical breakdown. Hi, love baby. How are you doing? Welcome in. I had a physical breakdown, literally had a breakdown because I was working so much hours. I was taking care of everybody and supporting, loving on everybody. I thought I was being the best person possible, but I was giving too much access to myself, to um to other people, but I wasn't giving myself to me. I wasn't showing up for me. I wasn't filling up my cup. I did not request and ask for help like I needed to. See, that can be a major problem with many of us. We will give so much to others, and yes, that's nice to do those things. Hi, Life with the Tasharia. How are you doing? Welcome. Um, I think that's wonderful to give to people and to love on people and to support them. But what is not good for us is that we don't ask back for help and we don't set boundaries and we don't say no. See, telling people, oh, yeah, I'll do that, I'll be there for you, and never saying no, when we don't say no, we stop ourselves from rest, we stop ourselves from peace, and we stop ourselves from wasting our time, effort, and energy. And that is so important and key to today's conversation and discussion. If you don't know your value and your worth, if you don't set standards, people are going to run over you just like a doormat. People will keep disrespecting you as long as you allow them. See, I had to learn from burning out, passing out at work, doing so much that I wasn't even taking care of myself. You just run out the door, don't eat breakfast. You haven't taken care of yourself. You haven't been exercising. You've been eating nothing but pure junk. And I'm just talking about myself. That's what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything good for me because I always thought, I'm too busy. I don't have time. How do you not have time for yourself? You know, that was a thing where I had to reevaluate the way that I was treating myself, the way I was showing up for myself, which I wasn't. So, if this applies to you, I just want to give you some encouragement. Learn from my story, what I went through. We can't always be the yes woman or the yes man, okay? We can't always be there for everybody. We can't always support everybody. It's called filling up your own cup. And I learned the hard way, unfortunately, by getting sick, that I can't do for everybody because how can I help other people now that I'm down and out? You got to think about yourself. And it means getting your rest, making sure you're drinking water, eating nutritious food, of course, following the guidelines of your doctor because while this is not medical advice, it will help somebody. You know, I know that there is somebody who is watching that is not taking care of themselves, just like me. You know, when was the last time I took a vacation? I could not have told you that. I wasn't taking a vacation. I wasn't drinking water. I was just, it would be 3 or 4 p.m. I didn't even eat yet. He's like, but not anymore, because now I learned self-love and boundaries and learning to show up for myself, taking care of me, making sure I pack my snacks and my food and my drinks, make sure that I have spoken over my life. That is all important about being our best and being our happiest. And I feel completely different. Not only have I lost weight, but I've reclaimed my mental health, my drive in life, my desire, my motivation, my excitement to be empowered and to have joy in my life. If you don't have balance in your life, if you don't know your worth, other people are going to control you. People will puppet you until you know the direction of your life. So, if you have not already, if this is something new for you, I want you to take out a pen and a paper and start writing down some things that you want out of your life. Do you want better mental health? You know, a healthier lifestyle, less stress? You can have those things. See, and that's why this is a training topic today. Is we feel like we don't have the time. I used to say that all the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to exercise. I don't have the time to eat healthy. I don't have the time to take care of myself. If you don't make time for yourself first and fill up your cup, how will you be able to help not only others but yourself? If we're not okay here and in our physical person, in the spirit, if you're not okay in your present right now, how can you pour into other people? See, how I used to have it wrong is I used to wait for other people to fill up my cup. The people that I cared about, the people that I loved, I expected them to give me love, give me support, show me kindness, show me respect, but I wasn't doing that for me. So today's topic about, accessibility, we have to cut off access from other people, close those doors, block people, stop telling your business, and look at what you need. Wake up earlier and speak over your life. That completely changed my life when I started waking up 20 minutes earlier, you know, and just sitting with myself and talking to myself and saying, I'm so grateful that I'm alive another day. I have gifts, I have talents, I am worth, I love myself. I am fantastic. I do great things. I am loved. There's nothing that I can't do. I'm telling you that shifted everything in my life, you know? Hey, Sure Shannon, how are you doing? That shifted everything in my life, knowing that I had potential inside of myself. It's not that I didn't think I could do things before, but it changes everything when you start telling yourself, when you empower yourself, when you tell yourself that there's nothing I can't do. And then I gave myself the permission to face my fears. That's a really big deal. And a lot of people really don't know how much weight that carries. People will know if you're not a confident person. People will know if they can play games with you. Like, oh yeah, they just say that, but they're not going to do it. You have to do it for yourself first. And that's why today's topic about accessibility is so important. Because if you allow people access to your personal business, access to, knowing your business and what you're trying to do, you allow people to get in. You have to cut people out until you first know what you want to do. You have to want to be happy, but you got to take those steps to make yourself happy. I know for me in accessibility, I had to stop letting people get to me. I had to remind myself that I have power from within, and other people's opinions are none of my business. That's a very heavy thing right there, is that you have to believe in yourself. And after a while, when you go through life and things happen to you, it's so very hard for you to find you again. Yeah. Hi, Miss Lynn. How are you doing? Welcome back. I've missed you so much. I hope you're doing okay. Um, That took me a really long time to finally find me. And so many people go through their life and, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and up, and they have never come to a space where they really love themselves and a space of peace and pouring into themselves. So, that's something that I wanted to say. It took me a while in my life to finally come to the space that I have peace in my heart. I have forgiven people who hurt me, because until you are happy within yourself, you can never have peace with other people. It doesn't matter how much friends you have or how many people love you, but if you don't have self love, if you don't have self focus and direction, you're going to be all over the place. People will be puppeting you. Do this, do that for me, because you don't know what you want yet. You have to know yourself, love yourself, and say, this is what I'm going to do, and keep yourself focused and not distracted. Okay? Miss Lynn says, yes, Marlene, in recovery. I'm so grateful to hear that, Miss Lynn. Definitely you have been in my thoughts and my prayers. I'm so glad that you're in recovery, and more well wishes to you and your family. So everybody, I always want the best for you guys. And I know when I share my testimony, every single time I turn on the live button and I share motivation and I tell people a little bit of my story, like I just did today. It takes courage to not allow other people to get you distracted. It takes courage for you to forgive yourself and to say, yeah, I made that mistake. Yeah, I procrastinated, but then I forgive myself. And I give myself the permission to try over and over and over again until I win. And you can do the same. You got to give yourself the permission to heal, to forgive, to stay consistent and persistent, because that's what this life is all about. If you don't stay consistent and persistent, you're going to be all over the place. You will never find your way to peace or happiness. You got to be firm. You got to know your direction in life. And you got to know about boundaries. And accessibility is so important, especially when it comes to work, your job, or your business. Yes, there's a time, you make money, but there is also a time, because we work hard, to relax and to have fun and to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You've worked hard, you've done a lot, but when was the last time you had a vacation? You did something for you that was fun, that brought you peace, that made you feel good, that made you have a sigh of relief. I can't tell you guys that that was the balance that I needed in accessibility. Is I gotta have time for me to fill my cup up, and not wait for other people to fill me up. You know, your romantic relationship, your friends, your relatives, whoever in your life, it's not their job or responsibility to fill you up. That is what we do as mature adults. We show up for ourselves. You look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough. And because I am enough and because I'm worth it, I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to give myself the permission to relax. And you cut off all access. Nobody is not calling me today. Nobody is not, I'm not involved in people's drama. I'm not fixing people. I'm not doing none of that. It's not our job to be everybody's savior. I really had to learn that lesson when I got sick, that I can't be everybody's savior. It's not my job to put on other people's oxygen masks. They have to do that for themselves. It's not my job to fix other people's situations or problems that they find themselves in. When you have a kind heart, a loving heart, you really want to help everybody, but it's not possible. People have to make good decisions. People have to do the right things. It's not your job, because they are going through something, having the expectation, oh, they'll do it, and you know why? Because you don't say no. Or you say no, but you still do it anyways, and then you complain about it. See, we're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. If we really don't want to do it, if we can't afford to do it, if it drains our power, if it brings a lot of stress into our life, we're not doing that. See, that's why accessibility is so important. Not everybody deserves access to us. Not everybody deserves access to you. You know why? Because we're valuable, we're worthy, we're important, and we have a purpose in life. See, it was not until I found my purpose in life before I really could understand, like fully understand. Because I have a purpose, I have to treat myself better. I have to keep myself in good shape. I have to be very cognizant of what I'm listening to, what I believe, how I treat myself, how do I show up for myself, and am I empowering my own mind? That's very important when it comes to accessibility. Because if you have nothing but people withdrawing and nobody making deposits, and you also, as a woman or as a man, have not been putting deposits in your life, making sure you listen to positive material, being around empowered people, being around people who pour into you and show up for you and support you. It can't be always you giving, and you're always giving out until you're at zero or you're in a negative bracket. See, that's not going to work. And I don't want you guys to be like me. I don't want you guys to go through getting sick, burning out, passing out, going through health issues when what you need to do is say no, cut off the phone, block people, stop giving your money away, your energy, your power, your time. And especially, this is very important to today's topic, we have to walk away from spaces that we're not growing. Mm-hmm. That one was very hard for me. I had a job that, I liked it and everything, but I wasn't growing there. You know, that wasn't my purpose in life. I wasn't happy. There was no peace. So I developed a plan, an exit plan, and I'm so grateful that I did that because I feel so much better. If you're not growing somewhere, if you're not encouraged, supported, you don't feel anything through it. Hey, realist, how are you doing? Welcome in. If you don't find yourself growing, being around certain individuals, you need to leave them alone. Okay? You need to leave them alone. Okay? Just go away. Just walk away. And that could be a romantic relationship. It could be your relatives. It could be siblings. It can be your children. It could be somebody you're dating. Not everybody is good for us. But you got to know that about yourself. And it takes a lot of courage to look at yourself and say, you know what? I have not been treating myself well. Mm-mm. I have not been showing up for myself. I have not been taking care of my health. And I know that I could do better. Does this apply to anybody? Do you know you could be doing better, treating yourself better, using more of your intellectual capacity, and you're not? See, you're not alone. I don't just give these messages just to come on live and to say things. This is experience, life experience of what I have personally been through. And I went through those times where I doubted myself, or who's going to listen to me. I remember when I first started off doing motivational speaking, and people said, oh, that will never work. Who's going to listen to you? You can't live in that space of living on other people's opinions. Your opinion has to be the one that counts. And what do you think about yourself? What do you want to do? What is your calling? See, and when you know your calling, when you know your worth, when you know you're good at it, and I know I can do well. I know I can be successful. And that's not being cocky or anything like that. But you got to believe in yourself enough to make changes. Okay? And stop letting people have access to you. There's a lot of people that we give them access. You give them too much of your power. You give them too much of your time, your money, and everything. And they drain you. and they don't even say thank you. There's no respect there. There's no personal growth. Actually, you're stressed out, angry, miserable. Trust me, and trust and believe. I know all about that. But only you can pivot that. Only you can shift it. See, you got to make some changes. You got to make some choices. And there's a lot of people that you have to enforce that block button, because you can't get where you want to go if you keep doing what you've always done. See, I have one of the best mentors ever, and she told me that. And she told me that until I actually believed it one day. She said, I can only give you the knowledge. Just the same thing that I'm doing, I'm paying it forward. She gave that to me and dropped those seeds of hope in my mind so I can drop some seeds of hope into somebody else. If you really want to do something, you got to believe that. hmm You have to make some changes. You got to make some plans, and then you got to go for it. It's called pulling the trigger, pulling the gun, whatever it is that you want to call it. Going for it and stepping out on faith. Sometimes you just got to do it, because how will you really know how successful you can be in this life if you don't try? You got to try and do your best and forget about everything else. See, I had to learn a long time ago to stop asking other people for their permission. It was almost like I wanted people to say, "You'll be successful. You'll do great. I believe in you. You can do it." Well, we don't need that. The only person that needs to affirm that inside of ourselves is us. You got to affirm, I'm so good at this. I'm talented. I'm gifted. I'm capable. I'm worthy. I'm strong. I'm intelligent. But you got to speak that over your life and believe it. Only you can believe that. I can give you the tips. I can give you the tools. I can empower your mind. I can help you to mindset shift. But only you can wake up every day and step into those shoes and be strong. And to say, I'm going to do this today. And you take it one day at a time. Sometimes it's moment to moment. But then you get up every day and you say, I did it and I'm proud of myself. And then you reaffirm yourself by being your own cheerleader. I can't tell you guys, the first time that I did my first motivational speaking, and I got up there and I mumbled through it, but I got through it. But it was, sometimes it's just the act of starting, just going for it. Whatever it is that you want to do, go for it. Oh, thank you so much, love baby. I really do appreciate that. So very sweet of you. Thank you. Um, and I wanted to say that to all of you. If you want to do something, do it. We're never too old. You never done too wrong. You can never be too poor. I always say, if you're at the bottom, all you have is hope. Look up. Look up and pull and draw from inside of you. We each are strong, very strong inside. And I know that many of us have been through some really hard times. And if you went through that, you can get through this. Anything that you want to do, you can achieve it. I'm so proud of every single one of you. And I know that it takes courage. I know that it's scary. You may have to deal with some fears, but we're strong together. You're not alone in it. Miss Lynn says, Amen, facts. Yeah, you're not alone in it. We have to stop saying, I can't do it. I won't do it. If you keep making excuses, all you will get in this life is excuses. See, and for me, I got tired of the excuses and I was ready to live in empowerment and elevation. I wanted peace. I wanted to be able to wake up every morning and do what I was meant to do. Yeah. And that feels good that I don't got nobody telling me anymore. I do what I want. I do what I want now. And you can do the same. You can wake up every day and do what you want, but it starts by doing some little things, and then one day you'll be able to walk away, be your own boss, CEO, but it's going to take some work. Got to be consistent. You got to cut off access to other people, those negative energies, negative thoughts. And you got to get into some positive behavior. Start showing up for yourself. Say, I'm doing this for me. See, I had to get my mind right. I had to get my body right. I had to reaffirm. I needed to get some coaching myself, and I did. And I'm proud of myself because it wasn't easy. And I know that many of you, there's probably somebody listening right now and say, Marlene, I know you did it, but my life is different. I can't do what you did, but guess what? You can. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just a regular woman who believed in myself enough to make changes. I pivoted. I stayed consistent and persistent. I got help. I got myself a mentor, a coach, a therapist, and now I have accountability partners, and I do what I'm supposed to do. Hey, Can't Stop, how are you doing? Hey, Sirius. Hi, Chill Will Crew. Welcome in, everybody. Charlene says, yes, it feels good to be at peace. It was not easy, but it's here. Yes, I love that for you, Charlene. Hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome in. How was your day? And Can't Stop, how was your day as well? So, honestly, everybody, today's topic about accessibility, whether it's your kids, is it your spouse, boyfriend, somebody you're dating? Um, it could be coworkers. It could be anybody. We have to be very careful about who we give access to in our life because there's a lot of toxic people out there, judgmental, disrespectful people who will use you as long as you allow them to. See, when you empower your mind, say, I don't have to take it. It's like, why am I taking this piece of junk job? Why am I taking these little breadcrumb treatment? You don't have to take that. When I like literally got that, it's like, why am I working this job and I could make my own, have my own business? Why am I settling in this relationship when I deserve better than that? See, when you believe in yourself, when you become confident, you're going to start acting different. You're going to start showing up for yourself. And, you know, everybody is different. Some people it takes a long time, but for me, when I got that I can have a completely different life if I believed in myself. I can have a completely different life if I do the right things. Like what? Yeah. Realist says, not gonna lie, that cutoff game is strong. Yes, you gotta cut off people. You know, that was something that was so hard for me. It was so hard for me to cut off my relatives that I quote unquote loved. I loved them, but are you gonna keep letting them keep using you and disrespecting you and always demanding things from you? But they don't show up for you. They don't support you. They don't care about your boundaries. People do what they want to do to you, but you are the one that allows it. See, that's the big difference right there, everybody. You allow it. See, and we have to stop allowing access to us, to you. Why do you allow that? That's one of the questions that I had to ask my own self. Why do I let them treat me this way? Why do I keep taking this? Why do I think that I deserve it? Why don't I do better? And that is where it started, where my life started to elevate and grow. I became better, healthier, more positive, peace, everything. Everything starts to change when you believe you have hope. I can't tell you, some of the most beautiful things in your life is when you go through things and you feel like you're hopeless until you finally find your hope. You finally find direction in your life and you start showing up for yourself. That's so important. We have to cut off access to negativity. That completely changed my life. When I stopped letting negative people into my mind and believing, um, yes, I do have Cash App. My Cash App is dollar sign. I think Sirius. Sirius, can you put my Cash App in? I think my Cash App is dollar sign Best Life 727. I think so. Best Life. I think so. But I know Sirius knows my Cash App. Can you put, if you can put it in for me? I really appreciate it. Sirius says, I'm not allowing anyone to steal my joy and peace of enjoyment. As you shouldn't. And that's why I always have conversations and podcasts when I'm not available to be on camera. I still want to put out the message and the encouragement to don't let other people take your joy and your peace. Take the joy out of your life, because I know for myself I was just going through life so often. Just going through life like, have you guys ever been like, you feel like you're just running on a treadmill, you're wearing yourself out? And that's what I was doing at that job. I'm just working so hard, working, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. You're wearing yourself out. The same thing with relatives and friends and in certain relationships. You're doing so much for them. You're showing up for them. You're doing all the right things, but you're not getting anything back. Thank you so much, Sirius. I appreciate that. You're doing so much for everybody. But who is doing so much for you? See, that's why a reevaluation, reset, and really being honest with yourself. Am I doing the right thing by myself? I really had to get tough with myself. I don't know about you guys. I really had to get tough with myself. Like, Marlene, what are you doing? It's like you're too talented. You're too capable. You're too worthy to be settling for less than you deserve. And I say this to all of you as well. You are too talented. You are too worthy to be settling, to be letting people disrespect you and use you. No, no, that's not okay. And people will think it's okay to keep ghosting you and disrespecting you and treating you like garbage because you allow it. We are the ones that have to stop it. And it stops with you, you know? It stops with you. Um, I got to the point where I got sick and tired of always being on E, but it's like, how am I always like depleted in energy? Nobody's offering to support or help or encourage me. And I would always find myself being the one encouraging people. You can do it, showing up for them. But when I would go through things, who shows up for me? Who encourages me? Who supports me? So, that was a pivotal shift that I had to make in my life, that I have to show up for me first. I got to take care of me. I got to be happy, healthy. My cup has to be filled up. I have to be at peace. There has to be joy in my life. And I need to be doing things for me. That's in my gifts and what I want to do with my life. And if I can help people along the way, and it's possible, I'll do it. But I'm not going to get off track from my purpose to always be helping people, and I lose my alignment. I lose my focus. I lose my joy in life. I lose my peace. No. And also, you get sick and stressed out. I don't know about you guys, but that was a big thing for me. Like, I'm completely stressed out. I'm so frazzled. Can't sleep at night, worried all the time. I was just ballooning up, gaining all of this weight because I was doing so much. Like, completely wearing myself out. I was wearing myself thin. I was on very thin ice. Okay? But it's like when you bring it up, they don't even care. They're just like, It was like nothing. It was like, hello, I'm worn out, and you're still asking me for more. They don't stop. They don't care when you say you're tired, you're going through something, whatever. All they want to know is, can you do it? Oh, thank you so much, love baby. I really appreciate that. That's so very sweet of you. Let's see some of the comments that I missed. Um, let's see what I missed. Serious, I know you're right. That's from Love Baby. Serious says you're welcome. Realist, Charlene put some hearts in here. Realist says, as long as they can be and want to be helped. Other than that, see, I had to learn. It took me a long time to get that part. You can only help people who want to be helped. There's a lot of people, they don't want to be helped. They just want you to do everything for them. They want you to pay their bills. They want you to take care of their children. They want you to do everything for them. Okay? But they're not doing any work for you. They're not going to help you. They're not going to be nice. They won't be kind. They're definitely not going to be respectful. They're going to be demanding. They're going to stress you out. They're going to bring all their drama. But no, you shouldn't complain about it, right? Do you know people like that? They bring so much stress. They bring all their projections of their fears and their anxiety and all the things that they've done wrong, but they have zero accountability. They just say, they just come and spill out all their problems onto you and say, fix it. And then then they get you all stressed out and worked up, and they don't even care. And it's their business. So I definitely had to learn that it's not my responsibility to fix people's business. It's not my responsibility. If somebody is immature and disrespectful, they need to grow up. There's some people in our life that they just need to grow up. And other people, you just need to cut them off because they can't be helped. Because they're going to do whatever they want to do. So that's not our responsibility, okay? It really isn't. Yeah. Sarah says, I know the feeling. Oh, I don't want you to know that feeling, Sirius. I hate that. Rilla says, I'm only strict about my interactions with people because I learned we don't always receive what we give back. Right on target, realist. Right on target. And that is what I hate. Well, when I say I don't hate a lot of things in life, but one thing that I absolutely hate is being around people that don't like to give. They're always dry begging. Can you do this? Can you do that? And always in your phone texting you. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? But say it's one little thing. Can you pick me up? Can you give me some gas money? Oh, I'm going through this. They don't have time to listen to you. They don't have time to support you. They would never give you $1. They never are encouraging, asking how you're doing. The only time they ask you how they're doing is when they want something from you financially, or they want to talk about somebody else and gossip and bring drama in your life. No, all those people have been cut out of my life, and you are never coming back. Okay? That's the part about accessibility. I had to learn that I have power. And the same thing for you guys. You have power. We have more power than we know, than we believe, than we think. You do. You don't have to keep taking it. You don't have to answer that phone, text message. You don't have to let them into your house. And you definitely don't have to do nothing for them if you don't want to. If you don't want to, don't do it. Just don't, you know? And I feel so much better now that I have come to a space and position in my life where if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. I don't care if you get mad. People who get mad and walk away in a huff and just say, well, I'm not talking to you anymore. Good. Good. For me, that's one of the best blessings. Goodbye. Close the door. Thank you. I didn't need you. I don't know why, but for me, I always thought I needed certain people. Oh, that's my this person in my life. Well, we've been friends for so long. Trust me, that's not your friend. That's not a person who loves you and cares about you. That was an opportunist. There's a lot of people out here that are opportunists. All they care about is getting what they want. They don't care about nobody else but them. You know, it's one of those things. The more you know, people will keep using you if you keep letting them have access to you. Cut them off. Okay? See some of these comments. Gorilla says selfish, inconsiderate, and disloyal. Hmm. It's heavy on the selfish, heavy on the inconsiderate, and heavy on the disloyal. It's like they want you to be loyal to them, but they are the most disloyal people. They want you to be considerate of their feelings and their opinions and all this. And at the same time, they want to say you're rude, you're selfish, but they are the most rude and selfish. It's crazy. Yes, and very hypocritical too. I have noticed that there are so much people that they have one standard for you and then one standard for them. See, they're requesting, they're demanding, they're requiring that you do all these things for them, right? But what are they willing to give to you? That was something that I had to learn about myself. Like, what am I receiving? What do I get back? Not that I do things tit for tat, but I do believe 100% in you got to do something for me. So be supportive, encouraging. You pour into me. Like, what am I getting out of this relationship? And I had to learn that I deserve to have people show up for me and support me and respect me and not be rude and not always me always having to give, not me always having to support. That I deserve to be supported and respected and loved and blessed and overflowing and abundant. And you deserve the same things. But we gotta treat ourselves as such. You have to treat yourself as a queen or a king. You gotta do that. That has to be inside of you. And that's why I said I had to take a step back and work on me. I had to do a lot of healing and unlearn a lot of toxicity, you know. Some things are in us deep from our childhood, feeling like we have to. I have to do this for my sibling or my cousin or my parents or my friend or the one that I'm in a relationship with, and we don't. Toxicity is a real thing, and we have to stop enabling toxic behavior. It doesn't matter who people are in our lives, everybody isn't good for us. You know, I had to learn that part. Everybody isn't good for me. Everybody doesn't deserve me. And especially, they don't deserve access to my personal business, my thoughts, what I'm going through, what I'm trying to do, what I'm focused on right now. Everybody don't deserve to know that. You got to cut off that access. Um, Rilla says, I'm not trying to fake an interaction with nobody. I know that's right. Yeah. And I had to learn that as a woman, being genuinely like, if I feel like I don't like this person, if I feel I'm not growing in that space, if I feel like a lot of negativity, I gotta go. Because I can't be happy if you become who you surround yourself with. You become who you associate with. You become the reflection of who you call your friends. And that's why that saying is so true. Show me your friends, and I will show you who you are. Because if you're around somebody and they don't love themselves, they're always complaining, they're always dry begging, they're never doing anything, but they're expecting to be helped. You know, always playing the victim. Do you know people like that? I know that all too well. Always they're the victim. They're down and out, and everybody's against me, and nobody's nice. No, For the most part, people who always play the victim are the ones that don't do the right things. They're not willing to make changes. They just say, feel like they can be rude and disrespectful, and other people are just sensitive. No, you're rude. You need to learn some manners. You need to learn to shut your mouth. And it's a lot of people that need to zip their mouth. Okay? You can't say what you want to say and then expect for people to take it. We don't want to hear that. No, I got tired of it. I had to cut off some people in my life, and I genuinely love them, but I can't love them more than me. And that was the balance that I had to learn. It's like I put people in my life all the way up here, and I'm all the way down here. The math is not mathing, it don't work. You will be miserable, upset, stressed out if you always put yourself down here last, or even sometimes we don't even make it on the plate. You don't your plans are never considered. Your mental health is never considered. Your situation is never considered. People don't care about you until you cut them off. When you start showing up for yourself and doing nice things for yourself, people will get upset. We have to be prepared for that. But it's okay, because what is meant to be for you is meant to be for you. Cut off those toxic people. Eliminate them from your life. You don't need them. You never needed them. And that is the thing. Most of the time we feel like we needed people in our life. And you never needed them. You thought you did, because maybe you were lacking in self-esteem. You were lacking in some area. You thought you needed their support. You thought you needed their time. You thought you needed their energy. You thought you needed them to be able to get to another level in your life. And really, all you needed to learn is to be patient, work on confidence, work on consistency and being persistent, working on loving yourself and being your own best friend. And I'll tell you guys that when you learn that secret sauce, that combination of loving yourself and showing up for yourself and doing what you need to do for you, when you get that, you're definitely going to understand the people that you need to cut off. Because when you start taking care of yourself, you don't have time for the negativity and the drama. You don't. All those other people that are a part of the drama, they will fall off, because when you stop doing things for people, they're not going to like it. They're going to remove themselves. Trust and believe me. People will cut themselves off when now they can't get your money, they can't get your time, they can't know your business. Okay? They'll remove themselves. They'll start talking about you. Oh, you think you're better, especially when you start looking better. You're taking care of yourself. You're getting fit. You're eating healthier. And it's no shots against anybody, but when I stopped eating a lot of garbage and I started eating healthier, people, oh, she don't eat that anymore. Okay. Did I tell you you can't eat what you want to? I said I don't eat X, Y, and Z anymore. Your My life, my choice. And the same thing for so many things in our life. We all have choices that we have to make. And you gotta make a choice to choose yourself. And you gotta make a choice to show up for yourself and a choice to love yourself. Self-respect is so important, you know? And I always say that to you guys because you guys are my gems. And we've been doing these conversations for almost 2 years, and I think it's so important for us to say this. You're important. You're worthy. You're valuable. But you have to put in the work to show up for yourself. You have to put in the work to respect yourself. You have to say no and mean it and enforce it. Your life isn't going to shift and pivot until you start showing up for yourself. You can do it. I believe in you guys. Okay? Don't let people play you for a fool. Do not let people run over you. It's time for us to show up for ourselves. Okay? So I thank you guys so much for your support. This has been a training Tuesday and talking about accessibility and all of those things. You know what to do, guys. You know when people aren't good for you. You know the ones that aren't helping you. You know the ones that don't care about you. Cut them off. Know your worth, okay? I am Life with Marlene, your Florida vlogger, a life coach, motivational speaker, all of those things. I thank you all so much for being a gem. If you're new here, feel free subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this motivation and join my channel membership. It starts at 99 cents. Shout out to my mods. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for your support. If you see somebody here in blue, make sure you go by and check out their channel, check out their content. And also check out some of my other live streams and videos and vlogs. I have so many over here. And I will most definitely will tap in on the next live or motivation or something coming up soon. I think in less than 3 hours, I have a vlog at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys come by and check it out. I think I did a vlog going to some some park in the area of Florida. So if you like the Florida vlogs like this kind of scenery of beaches and pools and lakes and things like that, Florida sunshine and ambiance, be sure to come by and check it out. I really appreciate you guys. And you know what I say over here on Life with Marlene? Love your life and live your life. Peace, guys.